by experience, and I've seen this often happening, there seems to be what some people call often sort of the air sandwich between senior leadership and the teams and people who work in a company. And apart from a couple of, town square meetings where some questions by a few can be answered, often there's a big gap, especially in bigger corporations, through hierarchy, to just because there's thousands of people. You can't have one-to-one relationships with everyone. I see a lot of leaders suffering, and I also see them through management layers. Sometimes they just don't get actually the knowledge, the information, and can build certain relationships to knowing what's going on further down the hierarchy.
Yes.
How, when that's the case, to bring in empathy and say, I actually want to listen more to people and build these relationships, what do you see in terms of value recognized for leadership in the context they're sitting in particular? How is that working out? Is that recognized enough? Is it not? Is it a struggle to bring that in as a value? Or what do you see there when you talk to leadership like that?
I can think of one particular large corporate I worked with where they were their leadership development was second to none in terms of it's all about how you relate to others. It's all about making sure you take people with you. And their leaders that went through their programs absolutely got that. And at the end of it, were going out there saying, yeah, this is what it's all about. And there was that disconnect that I think you're describing, that when they actually got out there, the culture kind of grabbed them back into status quo almost. So it's about what can you put in place within the organization that is going to enable that positive change. It's not just about giving people the capability. And people, the leaders that went on these programs felt freed by the fact this is what it's all about. But then they got back into the culture and suddenly it wasn't what it was all about again. No. So there's something about what can you put in place in the organization. And there is something about what's measured gets done. So making sure that within the organization, there are behavioral objectives that link into how are you leading your people? And, what are the quality of the conversations you're having with your people? How are you supporting your people to grow and to develop their behaviors as well as how you're growing and developing your own? And I can think of an organization I'm working with at the moment who are spending a lot of time. They've invested a huge amount of time and money in supporting their leaders to be able to performance manage their people from a much more viewpoint of growth and development, rather than it's all about giving you a reward at the end of the year. It's actually supporting that integrated approach where you have daily conversations, or as appropriate, around people's development, not just at the end of the year or the half year review, as it were. And I see that happening, within big corporations today, which is absolutely one way to make sure that it gets embedded into the organization, and leaders are measured against their behavior from that perspective.